Oh my goodness, people here already. Wiccan, what do you mean? I thought you were late. You're early. I'm early, in fact. I'm 5 minutes early, but I was sorted out and I thought I would jump on quickly. How are you today? It's been a bit of a hectic evening, so I've got the dog is doing his usual stressy, bloody heartburn thing. Had him out round the block twice now while he's been eating as much grass as he could get hold of. So hopefully he'll just chill out and everything will be good. Been a good boy. That's a lad. That's a good boy. So I'll just chat to the dog. Hi, Wix. Hello, my dog. What's your picture? I've got to put that on my telly. Let's have a look. It's murder this because I can't. What the Effie Jeffy is that, Wiccan? I can't tell what the photo is. Is it a geode or something? That's bizarre. Hi, Lady Witch. Hi, Simples. You know, I thought if anyone. Hi, Frida. Oh, Oh, hey, Wiccan, how clever am I, eh? It's a geode. Eh? Frida, how are you feeling? I was asking about you early in the week, seeing if anyone had heard from you with you being down with the COVID. Are you feeling better now, love? And it's lovely to see you. Yeah, I thought tonight, if anybody was going to be in here tonight, it would be Simples and Green Eyes because of the topic. Not that I don't think anybody else is interested, but I thought if anybody, it'll be you two. Although I've not spoken to Green Eyes for a couple of days. She's not been so good either with she's got sciatica. Oh, and that's a crippler. Hi, Lisa. How are you, love? It's not like me to be early, is it? So, and look at all you guys. Oh, Frida knows. Just recovered. It was awful. Oh, I didn't have it as bad as a lot of people. I definitely didn't need to be hospitalised, but the few days I had it for, oh God, I wasn't well. I just was so wiped out. And I think the first thing was the worst for me was the sore throat. Lady Witch, are you being naughty? Have you got a hot one for the aliens? Well, I'm really hoping you guys will enjoy this story tonight because it's I think it's interesting and I've done quite a bit of reading on it. Oh, what's Wicked said there? How are you, hon? Had it in April, still in pain. It's the darting pains in your legs that are still there. Oh, God, no. Oh, Simples, my friend who received dialysis has COVID and grandson number 2 has chickenpox. Hey, I have got no resistance to chickenpox, Simples. I'm really lucky I've never got shingles. I've actually had full-blown chickenpox now 3 times. I've had mumps twice. So I don't know whether it's both of them I'm not resistant to, but yeah, chickenpox. Yeah. So poor little beggar. Hopefully not too bad, but you see some kids with it, don't you? When the real little ones, and they are head to toe bartered in the spots. Oh, whilst you're in the midst of it, your fridge freezer broke down. Oh God, no. Oh, Wiccan. Oh, so your daughter's the same as me then. Yeah, I just appear to have no resistance. So if I hear of anybody with chickenpox or the kids, might keep the F away from me. Sid! Oh, hey girls, we've got a stunner in the house tonight. Let's get the old Siddy up on the screen. We have to see, I do it with all the ladies, so I've got to be just as fair with all the chaps. There's our Sid. Look at the chappy there. Look, it's actually lovely to see the real you. And how is Nancy? I'm hoping that she's feeling a little better, even if she's not fully full-blown better. I hope she's feeling a little better. I'll just do our we'll have like a good 5 minutes of a catch-up, and before I start going into this, because it's nice seeing everybody tonight. I'll get off. Hey, it's been a bit muddy today, Sid, and anybody else who's aware of Blackpool. Obviously, it's the first night of the lights. It's the turn on tonight. Now, apparently, it should have been Johnny Vegas where opening, the illuminations, but he's had to pull out due to unforeseen personal circumstances. So instead, they've got Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen. I'm just like, yeah, it's not particularly. It's not the same thing, really, is it? I know, but the thing is, apparently they're doing it because they lost so much money over the last couple of years with with COVID and lockdown and all the rest of it. So I think it's an hour earlier and a month earlier and a month later. And I think they finish in January. So me and himself are going down into town tomorrow night. And I said, are you kidding me? It's the first weekend for the lights. This is going to be a fucking nightmare, isn't it? Oh, what have I missed? What have I missed? Hang on. Oh, gosh. Oh, I'm really sorry, guys. I'm struggling with the chat tonight because it jumps when I'm trying to move it. So if I've missed anyone, hello. I don't think I have, but hang on. Where we got? Fantastic. Oh, is it good news about Nancy? Oh, Sid, I'm so happy. I've just seen you on. I'm convinced all the love from here and Bams has helped. Oh, God bless her. God, I sounded like a Christian then, didn't I? But, it's Friday, so it's Freya's day for my belief system. So I hope the goddess Freya wraps her arms around her and holds her to her bosom and gives her all her strength. I know, Wiccan, I know. I'm letting the pagan side down, but it's one of those things, isn't it? We've already discussed this. I was brought up as a Catholic. It's really difficult to shed the bonds. But yeah. You missed the J out of that. I spell it the old Norse way. Freyja. Freyja. May your God help her would be appropriate. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Do you remember, who was it? Oh, what was that Irish comedian? Did he only have one finger or something, or a finger missing? I know my nan would never watch him. She always used to go on about him saying because he'd been excommunicated. But I watched playback years later, and it was he used to say, didn't he? May your gods be with you as he finished. So I'm just having a little drink. My throat's a little bit croaky tonight. So yeah, maybe I should say that, may your gods be with you, because I don't want to offend anybody. I think for the most part we may I think the pagans are taking over, but I'm trying to think. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the Norwegian way. Is it Velkommen alle sammen. There you go. Everybody welcome. I'll probably get Darin in a minute telling me that I've said it wrong. Velkommen alle sammen. Oh, Dave Allen. Thank you, Wiccan. I've just seen it. Oh, and Simple. Yep. Dave Allen. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My nan was, my old Catholic Irish nana. She wouldn't have him apparently on the telly. If he came on, she's like, get him off. Get him off. I don't know what he was excommunicated for. I've got no idea. Or even if he had been. Must be, oh. What, I'm missing stuff here. Hang on. Da, 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 da. Let me go back up. Oh, so Wickham's got long COVID. Oh, okay. All right, hang on. I'm managing to get. I'm so sorry about this, guys. I'm managing to get my chat back now. I don't know what's happening, but StreamYard's just been an absolute arsehole. So everything jumps up, and then I'm trying to scan down to read it, and it shoots up again, and I think I've lost it. Right. I finally found your comment there. Loads of improvement last few days. Thanks. Brilliant. That's a really good, like, really good news. I know I'd caught up a little bit further down. Oh, Wiccan's just, yeah, we're mad about you two. I hope she's doing a bit better. That is. Oh, Frida, you had the darting pains. Oh, but they've gone now. Now, what are these darting pains? Because I don't know that I don't know that I had those. The only thing I had was the dreadful throat, and the tiredness, really. It was just the fatigue, absolutely soul destroying fatigue. Oh, is Eve deceived in? Hello, Eve. Sorry, hadn't seen you there. My form teacher looked just like Dave Allen, even had part of a finger missing, not the same finger. Well, my dad had part of his finger missing. His, the one that he'd give you the bird with on his right hand. That was an army accident. He shot the end of it. You were going to the loo. Please don't take us with you. There's some things we don't need to hear. You're all too kind. I love you all. Can't wait till Nancy can join in. Oh, Sid, that would be brilliant. We should do a special one. Well, here, guys, while you're all in, he never told the truth about his finger. Did he not? Do you know how he lost it? My dad shot the end of his off, being a dick. And he got roasted for that. So this is just before I start on this one. I had a little thought, and it was actually in reply to, I posted that lasagna, that short video the other day when I made the lasagna. Incidentally, it was really good, but I've suffered for it since. Let's just put it that way, as has Porky. And Barbara had put a comment in it saying, oh, it looked good, and she made a cracking lasagna. So I replied that, oh, it was really tasty, Wiccan. So I just replied to her and said, I was thinking of maybe doing a live one time, because I know a lot of us really like baking and making, and, and it doesn't have to just be cooking related. Some of you like doing crafts like Fern, Kathy, Green Eyes. We've got certain crafters in, and then it was said, it really was. Let's just say bumhole looking like Japanese flag would probably be an appropriate description. But yeah, so anyway, going back to that, and I thought, sometimes when I know we normally do food then smut, but when we talk about food, generally somebody's got a fantastic recipe that they start to discuss. So I suggested maybe we do one live one night that we just share either recipes or craft things. I know what goes in must come out. You're not kidding. Can you imagine me teaching people how to knit from my bed? Well, anything goes. So that was my thought. And then beautiful Paula Nichols, she piped up. She's like, oh yeah, I'd really love that, because I'm like a meat and potato girl, and sometimes she gets a bit stagnant with the recipes. So that's what I'm going to do. So what I would like everybody who wants to join in, all have a think about something, and it can either be a recipe, or it could be a craft, or it could be just a handy hint and tip, and we'll do an evening where we share them. So I'm because I've got 2 recipes I can share. They're my go-tos. Well, one of them's Porky's recipe, obviously, but mine is my pie, which is vegetarian friendly. I'm always conscious of that. So yeah, so if you fancy that, let me know. Oh, Frida, thank you. But yeah, that might be something, Sid. I don't know what if Nancy likes the recipes and a baking or what have you, but yeah, that might be a good one for her to watch in, and if she's up to it at some point. Right, have I missed anyone before I crack on? You've been making lavender. Oh yes, you showed me those. You did. They're beautiful. You're so talented. I'm not I'm not skilled at crafts. Having said that, I can make the oh no, hang on, I've got to get this right. Is it macrame with the knots? And that, you know, you have the strings and you make the knots. Well, I do those with jam jars, so I can hang up tea lights and, you know, little fairy lights out all around the garden. So that's what I can do. But that really is the only craft thing. I'm more practical. I'm a massive baker, massive for that and cooking, but craft, that's kind of where I draw. I can knit, but I don't tend to follow patterns. I just kind of muddle along and make something. So all my friends tend to get, I think if you remember last year, they were getting hats and scarves and stuff like that, and I was just knitting like mad. So oh, does she make a mean? Oh, cheese and onion pie. Well, that'll be interesting, Sid. I could swap a recipe with her then, because I do a cheese and onion pie as well. I call it Jackie's melting cheese and onion pie. In fact, I'll tell you who I gave that. Well, Bam's got the recipe when she was collecting them for the recipe book, but also Jen at Nuff Nuff. And she emailed me about, so I sent her it over by email. So I don't know whether she's ever got round to making it, because it does take quite a long time. It's basically because it's the onions, because you cook them down into the, you know, so they become like an onion puree. Anyway, I better start, hadn't I? Because you've all come in so early, and this story is one that I've wanted to share with you for quite a while. Oh, let's just have a look. Well, Lady Witcher said, Wiccan, just don't ever try to add to the excitement by putting bits of Vesper powder in the wands. Flaming, flying, buds of lavender going everywhere. It's, oh. Now, I have to ask, what is Vesper powder? Because the only Vesper I know is the little scooter that I was riding around on when I lived in Italy. So I'm going to show my total ignorance now, but yeah, I've got no idea what Vesper powder is. Oh, I was really hoping, well, I'm hoping Green Eyes wakes up in time for this, because, but as I said, she's not been so good. She's had, she's been struggling on, oh, it's flammable, is it? Okay. Oh, lemon, blueberry and thyme birthday cake. Oh, right. Have you got a recipe for it, Frida? You'll send me some. Oh, well, yeah. I don't know what I would do with it, to be honest. It's like, you know, it does sound very nice, doesn't it? Come on. I've been trying hard not to pre-investigate this subject, and I can enjoy it as it unfolds. Righty ho. Okie dokie. We'll have a little bit of the old Terry Lovelace, and then we'll have a little bit of a catch up, and then I'll go back to it. So I don't know if any of you, I know Green Eyes did, because his books are for free. I know that, was it Simple said she was going to have a little look, because she'd not heard about him. Lady Witch, being the knowledgeable, well, the fountain of all knowledge, she probably already has heard of him, as of most people in America, probably. But we're going to talk about Terry Lovelace. And I'll give you a little bit of his background. So he, oh, sorry, the dog's decided to lie. It is the Devil's Den guy. Green eyes, wakey, wakey. No, but it's one of the vloggers she watches on YouTube, so we'll have to watch the vlog. Frida, just before I start, check out, there's a YouTube channel called Cupcake Gemma. They own the Crumbs and Doilies shop in London. And they have got all their recipes. Oh my goodness. If there's nothing on there of a similar ilk, there's something lacking. But I love those girls. They do courses as well and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, please check them out. Cupcake Gemma. Okay. Let's have a look. Kind of something at the back of my mind, but I can't remember. I was going to look him up, but I got so busy. Not a problem. You don't need to look him up when Auntie Jax is going to tell you all about him. Right, so Mr. Terry Lovelace. Now, initially, he was in the United States Air Force. Okay, this is just a little background. After he came out of the Air Force, he then studied law, and he became, well, first of all, he became an attorney in private practice, and then as a civil servant. After this, he then became the Assistant Attorney General. So that's not some fly-by-night, running by the seat of your pants profession. That is a profession that has got some clout behind it. And it is a position of trust, So that's just a little bit on Terry. Okay, now in June of 1977, something happened that was just going to change his life forever. Now, there is something else that I will throw in about this towards the end, because it turned out this wasn't the start of his experiences, but it was the start of the main one. So if we just hold that for now. So June 1977, this was when he was in the Air Force, and he decided to go and do some camping with one of his friends at a place called Devil's Den State Park, and that's in northwestern Arkansas. So him and his mate, they got there mid-afternoon. They didn't want to go into the, the more popular and crowded campgrounds, so they decided to go, just somewhere a little bit more out of the way, so they could, they could have a bit of peace and quiet and what have you. So they wanted to have the quiet so they could photograph the wildlife. They wanted to, because there were eagles apparently in that area that, they had a good chance of spotting. They wanted to watch the stars, just have a nice peaceful, without kids running around screaming or teenagers drinking beer and making a nuisance of themselves, even though they were only young fellas themselves at the time. So basically, they drove quite deep into the park to look for a pretty isolated area that was on higher ground. Now, they were on this gravel road that was taking them deeper into the forest, which eventually this gravel road then just became quite deep ruts in a dirt trail. But they plugged through it, and eventually they reached the top of a small hill, and that opened onto a field. So when they had a look, there was a small meadow. It was full of like late blooming wildflowers, knee-high grass, and they were absolutely gobsmacked at this scene because it was so beautiful. So, they kind of looked at each other and like, oh man, yeah, this is it. They were made up that they'd found something so beautiful and so isolated. They're like, yeah, this is it. This is where we're staying. So there was an expanse of high plateau, which was perfect for any wildlife photography. and they managed to get all the stuff out of the vehicle, and they set the campsite up just as twilight was starting. And he said, you know, he does remember that the night, it was absolutely crystal clear. The stars were absolutely amazing, you know. So they kind of got a fire going. They had quite a late dinner. It just said that he remembered they were pretty badly burned hot dogs. And they settled in for an evening round the campfire. So around about 10 o'clock that night, the conversation started to wane a little bit. You know, they were getting tired, but they were also becoming more aware of the noises around them, as you do when you're out. You know, even if you're in the middle of nowhere with no neighbours. I've done it. I don't know if any of you guys who've ever camped out, but you do tend to find yourself, your voice getting quieter and quieter, as though the night really doesn't want you shouting. You know, it's kind of respect for the dark, really. I don't know what else to call it, but I understand why these guys, you know, had this drop in the conversation. So as this, you know, this chatting had kind of eased off a little bit. Sorry about that, Wick, and putting I dropped my phone and my big dick finger thumb kind of touched the screen by accident. So you've got another prime spot on the screen. So anyway, so once the conversation had eased up a little bit, and a few minutes of this, and then he noticed that, you know, the normal sounds of the forest that they'd been hearing, it was kind of the background music to the conversation and their evening, which was crickets and, you know, tree frogs and so on. He suddenly noticed that it had all dropped off. It had actually gone quiet. You know, prior to this, the forest had seemed quite alive, with all the sounds of nature, and then suddenly nothing. It was just totally silent. He said there'd been a westerly breeze that they'd been enjoying earlier through the evening. He said even that had gone, and he noticed in the flickering light of the campfire that the leaves on the trees were all still. You know, they were not even moving. And he said the best analogy he could offer is that they were no longer looking at forest scenery. They were looking at an image of the scenery. It was more like, it was more akin to a 3-dimensional hologram. So it just didn't seem real because, you know, nothing was moving. And he said that it really unnerved him, this weird stillness. But his friend assured him, you know, that the laughter and the... Yeah, that's right, Lady Witch. And you've told us this before with your own experience in the park, haven't you? When it goes silent, it's time to go. Yeah, I think we'll put that up on the screen as well. So he said, you know, his friend Toby just said, well, I think our laughter and, you know, chatting and what have you, that's what's made the crickets go quiet, and they'll come back eventually. But Terry still felt, you know, quite uneasy. Anyway, Toby's friend, he happened to look to the west and just said, hey, were those lights there before? So Terry turned round to look, and just above the horizon, there were a triangle of very bright stars. So they sat there and they watched them for a few minutes and argued about what they were. Hi, Joe. Hello, my sweetheart. How are you? Lovely to see you. I've not been going long. We're talking about Terry Lovelace. So they've literally just, everything's gone quiet in the woods that they're camping in. So you've not missed anything exciting yet. But I'm made up. My lovely little Salma has made it. So back to these lights. So they're arguing about what they were. Now, at first, obviously being in the United States Air Force, they were thinking they were possibly airplane lights. Yeah, Joe, quiet woods mean run. Absolutely, they do. So they were thinking, were the airplane lights? But then they quickly dismissed that notion because the configuration was odd, and they were also stationary. Not only that, they sat too high above the horizon to be lights from a roadway or from a parking lot. So for about 15 minutes, the lads carried on this debate. What are they? What are they? What could they be? And then they moved. Now, these 3 points turned in perfect unison. They rotated once as if they were on an axis, and then they began to slowly ascend into the night sky. So the movements of the 3 points of light, Terry said they were perfectly synchronized. It was a single solid object. At times it tumbled, it rotated end over end as it gained altitude. The lights at each point of the triangle grew brighter and then they expanded. He said the size was really difficult to gauge, but they knew it was big. And the somersaults it was doing, they were too perfect for movement without a purpose. Now, the points stayed equidistant to each other as it sped up and clawed its way higher until it reached its ceiling. Now, they said the area inside the triangle was solid black and much darker than the surrounding night sky, which was that, that weird dark blue that you get at night. So this showed it was dark and it did stand out against the pitch black night sky. And as it travelled over stars, they'd blink out for a moment, and then they'd they'd blink back in again as it moved past. And he said it was a bit like, if any of you have heard the phenomena of the Phoenix Lights, not Phoenix Nights for anyone in the UK, we're talking Phoenix Lights. If you haven't, look that up. So as it grew larger, it eventually devoured entire fields of stars. And he said they watched as the triangle continued a steady trek towards the campsite. But incredibly, it continued to grow exponentially as it approached them. Now, he said what was really weird was that they felt no fear. And he said, although initially they'd been quite excited to watch this, he said they found that their excitement had ebbed. And this is a really strange thing, is that the mood was bordering on disinterest. Now, and he said, this made no sense to him either. And he was wrestling with this in his own head, about these conflicted emotions. But eventually, again, he just relaxed. It was like they didn't care. Now, about the time that it reached the highest point in the sky, that was when he noticed that he wasn't frightened at all. In place of the fear that he had initially felt, when they'd seen this thing, he said in place of that was this warm sensation of calm, which was almost bordering on sedation. And it kept washing over him in waves, and it had increased in intensity as the object drew closer. So he did say to his pal, and he looked at him and he went, "Hey, Toby, are you scared?" And he said, no, it was a minute or so before his friend replied, and he said, man, I'm not scared. Are you scared? So he replied, and he went, "Nope." "Hi, Sheila. Lovely to see you. Sorry, love, I hadn't seen you pop in." Anyway, now at this point it's above their heads and it was enormous. He said it was as if someone had cut a perfect triangle from the sky and filled it with 1 billion stars. Sorry, I've misread my writing then. He said it was as if someone had cut a perfect triangle from a sky filled with 1 billion stars, and then that left a void of darkness that ate up 1/4 of the night sky. Now, he said the one thing that he found was that his disinterest in this thing was puzzling him, and it baffles him to this day. He still can't get a grip on it. He doesn't know why he was so disinterested. He said it was the weirdest thing ever. And his friend was the same. It wasn't just Terry. His friend was exactly the same, just totally indifferent. And apart from that, they hardly said a word. It was like they just didn't want to talk. It wasn't that they were upset with each other, or they had no interest. They didn't want to discuss it. They weren't frightened by it. It was the weirdest thing. I would as well, Frida. I would have been absolutely petrified at this. Now, as all this is going on, they also realised that the crickets and the tree frogs and everything else still hadn't returned. But neither of them, initially when they noticed that everything had gone quiet, it was a bit unnerving. and it was a little cause for concern that had gone. They just, again, not bothered. So for some reason, still don't know why, Toby, his mate, picked up a flashlight and he said, I wonder what'll happen if I try to signal at it. You know, and you're like, okay, dude, whatever. Yes, Joe. Yeah, indifference is a strange response to seeing the weirdness. And it wasn't just that. It was like when he explained as well that feeling of sedation that was washing over him. You know, I think that was definitely some influence, wasn't it? Sorry, I'll just read what Sheila said. Hi, Sid. Yeah, Fridays are always busy. I do my your weekly shop, I'm presuming, rather than a ship. After work, then crack on with housework to get as much done as possible so weekend is peaceful. Very wise, Sheila, unlike me, who's done nothing. So Toby picks the flashlight up, says, I wonder what will happen if I try to signal it. Terry said he knows that he was too slow to snatch it from his hand. Yeah, exactly, Lady Witch. Did you never hear the War of the Worlds? He said, and Toby held it over his head and he flashed it 3 times. And they're waiting there thinking, is something going to happen? Well, they didn't have long to wait. Yeah, you would be, Wickham. Well, I'll tell you what, when I'm over in Ireland, if there's anything appears in the night sky, if you've got a flashlight, I'm taking it off you, just saying, or I'm leaving. So he's done this, he's flashed it 3 times. As I said, they didn't have to wait long because from the centre of this triangle came a beam of light, which is about, he estimated about the diameter of like a softball. It came down as if someone had flipped a switch on. He said the light was centred on the campfire, which at this point, it wasn't much more than a few embers now. The beam of light was almost solid and it was like a high-powered searchlight that was cutting through dense fog, but there wasn't any fog. It was just this visible column of white light. And he said, again, there were more like casual observers to this. It wasn't like it was happening to their campsite or, that it was above them. It was like they were casual observers. They were curious, but at the same time detached. Now, as quickly as it appeared, the white light switched off. And in its place, there was like a laser beam of blue or violet light, which was no broader than a pencil. And it darted quickly and danced about the campsite as if it was scanning the area and scanning them. The beam struck Terry in his chest and head, but he said he felt nothing. Now, he recalls that it struck Toby as well as it continued to flit around the campsite for a few minutes before it switched off. So again, they sat in silence for a time while this enormous thing was motionless over their heads. And the silence was such that he became aware of his breathing and his heartbeat. Now, after 15 minutes, Toby broke the silence and he calmly announced, "Show's over," or words to that effect. Now, in unison, they dragged their air mattresses behind them, crawled into the tents. He dropped his air mattress and fell on top of it fully dressed, didn't even bother to take his boots off. And as he rolled over on his back, he recalled Toby was already snoring softly, and his last thought was that he'd been mistaken. However, the crickets and the tree frogs did not return. It wasn't a dream and it wasn't sleep paralysis, but as he described it, he said very soon it would become a nightmare. So, that's so far. What do you think of that? Because I'm going to bounce around chronologically with this. So rather than boring you and just going at it hammer and tongue, I'm going to do little segments and stop, and then we can have a bit of a chat, see what you think. And all I wanted to say, this freaked me out a little bit when I was reading it. Yeah, dun, dun, dun. It's I like your sound effects, Sid. They're always spot on. I found, in fact, sorry, I always forget to do this. I'll pop the link in just in case anybody wants to come up, but you don't have to, but you're very welcome. Right. Yeah, absolutely simples. It's fine. I'm just going to, what pudding are you having though? And can we all have a bit? What freaked me out when I read the description and then I saw the drawing that had been made. Do you guys remember me telling you what happened to me? Well, quite a few years ago. And I said I was in the car with that guy and we saw this triangle that came over and it was massive, but it seemed to be hovering, but there wasn't any noise, but we didn't see any lights on it. Didn't see any lights. It was just pitch black and it was just above like the top of the trees. It was, yeah, and we followed it and then it kind of hovered there. It crossed over above the car. We both stopped in the road, like looking out the windows, and then it just went gone. And I did a check online. There were no reports of anything in that area. It was kind of in between. It was on the road between, if any of you know, well, Sid will know this area, Loughton and Culcheth. It was on that road going through there. Like not the other side of the East Lancs Road from Lee. That's exactly where it happened. So, yeah, it was very weird. It freaked me out. To this day, I don't know what it was. I'm not saying it was an alien craft because I don't know. My dad, when I told him, he reckoned it was some kind of a stealth aircraft. It looked similar, but it was a hell of a lot bigger. So I do have an open mind on things because I can't explain what that was. Nobody can tell me what it was, but looking at what he's written and looking at the drawings, it looks incredibly similar, apart from there were no lights on what I saw. I've just noticed Lady Witch's yeah, I did, Jojo, I did. But this was before I realised there were triangular UFOs, because I hadn't heard of any. You know, it wasn't something. I've not been a sci-fi fan ever. I've never watched, even to this day, I've never watched Star Trek ever. I've never watched what's the other thing? Oh, bloody hell. Like the Return of the Jedi or anything. I've never watched anything. I'm not a The only thing that could be remotely sci-fi-ish that I've ever watched was Stargate. That was it. I've never been one for anything. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, none of that. So it's not really my thing. And, you know, and I do know that there's some people in here who've had experiences, which I can't poo-poo. All I can say is that's all I've seen. I've not had an experience. I've not seen Little Green Star Wars. See, that's how bad I am. I couldn't even tell you what it was. Wiccan, thank you. Yeah, Porky will tell you I'm the least sci-fi. Were they, Joe? Why though, with all that technology to fly at light speed and do impossible maneuvers, why do they need any lights? Yeah, that's it, Sheila. Absolutely. But as I said, the one we saw didn't have any lights on it. There were no lights. There was no sound of engines. There was nothing. And that was the one thing people used to ask me. Did it have lights on it? No. What sound did it make? It made no sound. There wasn't even any, you know, like you would expect if a helicopter was hovering. So you'd have that air disturbance, wouldn't you, from the propellers? There wasn't even that. Even if there'd been like some form of a jet that was keeping it hovering, you know, a down pointing jet from the underside of it, there was nothing. Nothing. It was just like it was levitating. Can never understand, though, why these aliens don't land and completely reveal themselves to us properly. I think they have, Frida. Red Dwarf. No, Sid. No, not even like. I mean, I know of the characters in Red Dwarf, you know, but no, I never watched it. We see lots around here, but the airbase is very close. They go out over the lake for manoeuvres. So anything else is basically ignored. You see lots of what? The stealth aircraft or UFOs, Lady Witch? You see, yeah, I do. I agree with Joe about that, because when I very first saw one of the stealth bombers, were they called blackbirds or bluebirds? Was it? Yeah, yeah, that's what they said about Area 51, wasn't it? Like the alien craft, they reckoned it was a weather balloon. I'd say if anything has lights and makes engine noises, not the static humming sound, that it's man-made. Yeah, well, I mean, I must admit, and going back onto what Sid has said then, I even started doubting myself at one point, thinking, could it have been a gigantic, like, you know, they have these balloons, like the Goodyear balloon, like a blimp or something. Could it have been something like that had broken away from its moorings, because there was just no sound until it went? The speed that it went from moving across the road very slowly, kind of at walking pace, really, to hovering, to just gone. Stealth aircraft, newer models, etc. But lots of people watch for UFOs. Wow. Yeah. It like I said, I'm lost for words with these, because I'm just not. I'm not a hardcore ufologist or believer, or whatever else you want to call it. So would have been seen by others if it was a blimp or something like that. Yeah, that I know. And the thing is, I mean, because I didn't want to see the guy I was with, he was saying that's a fucking UFO. And I was like, nah, it absolutely isn't. Absolutely isn't. I got home, I told my dad, he being, in the army, he said it'll be some form of an aircraft that's come from, wherever, military aircraft, and that was the end of it. But yeah, as the years went on, I did start to investigate a little bit. Probably a lot of secret projects by the military we don't know about. Also, most of these sightings seem to be at night. I wonder why. Well, and also as well, I mean, did any of you watch? There was a really interesting program, and going on the back of what Jojo has said there, and that was about reverse technology, because weren't the Nazi Party they made some form of, and it did look like a UFO, didn't it? Don't know if any of you have ever seen that old film, like it's archive footage of it. It just hovers through the air, and it's circular, just like the old-fashioned, like not the Joe 90, the Jetsons type of aircraft, with the glass dome on top. Last time we went sailing, there was a yacht full of people looking for aliens. I often wonder how many aliens were intermingling with them. Do you think? I think it'd be the ideal opportunity, wouldn't it, for a little bit of a prank. Now, let me just find my next part. So, after they'd had this sleep, these two, you know, because they slept the sleep of the dead, they woke up and Terry, I don't want to tell you too much, because I do think you'd find it quite interesting, those of you with an interest in this, to actually go and read his book. And like I said, they are for free. You can get them free. I can post the link for you all, you know, to share it. Green Eyes, it was Green Eyes found it and she sent it over to me, so I've got it downloaded on my phone, which yeah, good. It's a good read. Anyway, so they woke up and Terry was looking out and he noticed across down in the meadow, and still dark, it's like there was kids, like what he thought were children, kind of toing and froing and walking around and whatever, and you know, and he's like, fuck, you know, what the, hang on a minute, Cooper, don't do it now, come here lad, sorry guys, the dog, hey, lie down and be quiet, good boy. So he's like, what the hell, what a kid, you know, and it's not registering really why. The most obvious explanation was there are loads of children. It didn't quite click in his head that what would children be doing in the middle of nowhere with no transport, with no accompanying adults, in the middle of the night, in a meadow, top of a mountain. So he kind of goes to his mate, and his mate is just, he's got the look of abject terror on his face. Abject terror. And it's like, have you seen these kids down here? And his mate's going, they're not kids. Terry's going, you what? He said, do you not remember that? It said, they're not kids, they hurt us. And his mate was petrified. It was sheer arse twitching terror. And he said at that point he remembered, and he started in dribs and drabs, not fully, but in little dribs and drabs, he did remember that they had hurt them, you know, that these things, these little creatures, had done things to them. Yeah, me too, Lady Witch. So, oh dear me. So when they left this place, they just wouldn't talk about it anymore. They didn't talk about it on the return journey. They were just like, this is not going to happen. No, we can't talk. And you can imagine this internal monologue going on in each of them. You know, they're not twitching probes or stinking probes if it was Cassius's. So we'll leave that little bit, and I'm going to jump forward then. And I'm going to jump. So this was, he left the military in 1979. And I'm going to jump all the way forward to 2012 now. Okay. So Terry had been a devoted runner for most of his life. He began running in earnest. Yeah, where's E.T.'s smelly finger? Who was that Starlight who was a smelly finger lady, which I can't, or E.T.'s brown smelly finger, I can't remember. So he began running in earnest when he'd left the military in late 1979. He didn't run marathons, but he was devoted to, you know, 3 or 4. I know, don't start with the probes. He'd run 3 or 4 miles every day. And he started noticing something that was a little bit odd. So this was every time at around the 2-mile mark, a spot on his right leg and the doctor blew it off and suggested he did the same. So he just dubbed it his numb spot, and he never gave it a second thought. And then oh, have you lost me? Hello? Have I come back, guys? Just let me know when you can hear me again, and which bit you heard up to. All right, which bit simples? Where did I go? On his right leg. Okie dokie. Right, back to his right leg. So they are listening in, Jojo. They do it every bloody time, don't they? So he had this spot when he was running at about the 2 mile mark. He'd have this spot would go on his right leg, would go completely numb. It was just above his right knee, and it was only about 1 inch in diameter. If he got a pin at the, while it was numb, if he got a pin, he could draw around the numbness. It would make a perfect circle. Okay. Now, less than an hour after that particular run would finish, the sensation would come back. He mentioned it to his doctor, and the doctor blew it off and suggested that he did the same thing. So he dubbed it his numb spot, and he never gave it another thought until October 2012. And it was actually October the 22nd, 2012, when he had quite a bad fall and it landed him in the emergency room. An X-ray, which was of his leg, above the knee, discovered there was an anomalous bit of metal. Now, the radiologist, when they were looking at it, and they were sure that it was a man-made object, it was about the size of a fingernail, and it had 2 wires attached. And he pointed out that it resembled an RIFD computer device. He also noticed a collection of foreign objects below. So, same leg, but it was below that in his calf muscle. Now, he insisted on examining the leg for scar tissue because he said the only way that those objects could become embedded in his leg would have required an incision. It's impossible to breach the integrity of the skin without leaving a scar. They're the words of the doctor. But there is no scar. So anyway, Terry said, "Doctor, how do you find a foreign body underneath the skin without a corresponding scar?" And the doctor had to think about it, and then he went, "Never. I've been a radiologist for 23 years, and I've never seen it before." And he said it was disturbing. So a day or two after this, Terry made the connection. He thought the foreign object in his knee lay just below his numb spot. And in early 2013, the nightmares that he'd been having prior to, for years before this, which again, I'm going to pop back to, they returned and opened the chapter in his life that he hoped had ended in 1978. Now, he'd had no intention of ever disclosing what happened to his friend and him back in 1971. Now, he was saying what a lot of people, when he was invited to lots of these different, like the MUFON talks and UFO conferences and so on and so forth. And, and some people want to know what qualifications he's got to talk about it. And he said, the reason he can talk with such authority, on what happened to him. And he said he was a 22-year-old staff sergeant in the United States Air Force. These are the details that he gives. He said his friend and him went on a 2-night camping trip to an Arkansas state park known as Devil's Den. We planned the trip to a wilderness adventure. Instead of a wilderness adventure, we experienced an encounter with something unimaginable. We became unwilling participants to events that shaped our futures in ways we could never imagine. It caused me 4 decades of disturbed sleep. It cost my dear friend his life. Now, after he left the military, he, as I briefly touched on earlier, he made his profession in law, first as an attorney in private practice, then as a civil servant. The question he's asked most is, why didn't you come forward sooner? And he said there are several reasons for this. He enjoyed the respect of his peers and a good reputation in the legal community. If he'd come forward with his story 30 or even 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been well received. It would have meant the end of his legal career. In certain professions, the subjects of UFOs is taboo. And to name but a few, the law, academia, medicine, commercial airline industry even, being overheard discussing the UFO topic in the lunchroom carries negative consequences. Now, he said him and his wife kept this topic to themselves because she was fully aware of it as well. They learned to avoid the subject because of the nightmares that always returned after the event was being discussed. And it wasn't just him, she would have them as well, even though she'd not been privy to the abduction or the sighting of the UFO. Horrific dreams disturbed both the sleeps, and over time they discovered that these night terrors were punitive. If we avoided the subject matter, the nightmares would cease for a time. They never completely abated, but if they didn't talk about it, it would ease up. In later years, he would experience 1 or 2 a year, and to this day, he still gets them. When he's asked how he can recall things with such clarity when they were occurring so long ago, apparently he was being investigated by the United States Air Force Office of Special Investigations, the OSI. And the moment he learned about this, he started writing down a chronology of everything that had happened, so that if he'd been, he had already been threatened with a court-martial for trespass onto federal land. So it seemed wise to record all that he could remember while it was fresh in his mind. He began to keep a written journal of his nightmares. It required a lot of discipline, but he forced himself to record as much on paper as he could remember before the memories vanished. And he also found that doing this helped him better understand what happened, and to kind of learn to cope with the terror. Now, while I was doing this, hang on, what have I missed here? If you swallowed him, you just shit about. Oh, good grief. If you get time, just look for the videos of Phil Snyder. You can find them, but they're hidden deep on YouTube. If you search for them, use DuckDuckGo, not Google. Totally believe what he was doing. Phil, now hang on a minute. Phil Snyder, is he the guy who follows who sees the UFOs on a daily basis? His name's ringing a bell with me. Because there's a guy who's been seeing these things from being a little boy, isn't there? And that's why I'm wondering if it's Phil Snyder, if that's why I'm remembering him. Now, I'm just going to chat amongst yourselves for 2 seconds because I want to try and find you. Oh, a very unpleasant death. Oh, right, okay. Wow. I'm going to try and find you a poem. Now, I'm not going to be, hopefully, too boring, but I'm just going to see if I can find it, because if I can, this will make you all go, wow. I didn't know about this. I came across this by accident. Right. Oh no, I only listened to it, right. This Four Grinning Monkeys that I was just about to talk to you about. Oh, it was an alien fight at Dulce Base and was badly wounded. Lost some things. Had stomach. Oh no, Sheila. Oh my goodness. Right, so we need to remember him. Hang on, let's highlight that. Phil Snyder, we'll put him up. Silenced. Oh my goodness. Right, well, what I was going to say was, and I can't find it, but I'm going to, I'll give you, in fact, bear with me a second because I'll be able to do it now that I have got my tablet with me. So I should be able to do both things. There was a really good podcast. I'm going to send you this link. And if you don't listen to any of it, just listen to the beginning because there's a poem and it's called Four Grinning Monkeys. And these four grinning monkeys were basically, it appears that Terry Lovelace was having alien visitations from being a child. Just going to put this on here. And he'd written this poem. So there's the link. I'm just putting it in the chat now. He'd written this poem when he was in high school. And when I heard it, and he read it out for this guy on that podcast, he read it out and I was like, shit. Because he even describes, asking where these are from. And he's done it all in poetry form, asking where these monkeys are from. And, and they say they come from a star to the west and they've got two suns and weird things. And it sounds as though they were kind of harvesting, whether it was his DNA, Stephen Gray teaches you how to contact. It seems they are very kind. They worry about our race. They want to help us. Well, what Terry Lovelace had said when he was reading out this poem, this Four Grinning Monkeys, and it is actually a really good poem for a kid. And he said that because they'd come to him as monkeys, and he said the best way to describe them, like the cartoon circus monkeys with brightly coloured tops on and the tails that curl up and round, they were like that. And he said, I think that what they do is, especially to children, they can change their appearance so they look more benign so that they don't terrify the child. But it was like they always asked him, would he go? It was like he had to give consent to go with them. And he said sometimes he went willingly and other times he said he screamed the fucking place down, but his mother never heard. You saw Phil Schneider's videos. They're hidden now, but some channels have the links to find them. I downloaded them. Oh, Sheila, you need to share those then. Well, it's time they help then because we're fucked. Crafts are run via free energy, which is why governments don't want anyone to know. Something else that he said as well was that when he went, there was him and two other, I can't remember the names of them. I should have written them down. There was him and two other abductees, and they were at one of these alien conferences, and they'd not had any discussions before. They didn't know each other. They'd never met. And basically they wanted to conduct some experiments. They did this publicly. And so they'd have the three of them sitting there and they had like notepads to write on, and they would be asking them questions, and say, how tall were they? All of them said like 4 foot. What did they look like? All of them described them looking the same thing. What did they do? Where did you go? all of them, all the answers were identical. And these are people from different areas of the country who've never met, you know, different ages, different sexes even, who've never met before. They've never even discussed things. Josh, Joe. I love it. Oh my goodness. That needs to go up there. Saw monkeys like that on a bad acid trip long ago. It was scary. You're a rumman on the sly, you aren't you? Dr. Gray seems credible, but the app he advertises for the alien contact group is expensive, so I'm a bit iffy that he's making some cash out of it. Do you know who I thought as well, Jojo? That they would remind me of the way he was describing these monkeys. Do you remember the film, The 12 Monkeys? And they had that caricature of the monkey. That's what I kind of envisaged them as. I mean, I'll be honest with you. That's it, Sid. Yeah, just like that. They are 4 grinning monkeys. So, and these would appear from him. I'm sure he said he was about 4, something like that. Oh, you got it. I don't use it much. The money goes to research. Oh, you need to tell us more. So what's this one then, Wiccan? This is an app, is it? Alien Contact Group. How much is it? See a monkey's ass and you're off. Do you know, they're one of the most ugliest things ever, aren't they? Just while we're waiting for Wiccan or Sheila to get back to us with how much this Alien Encounters app costs. But yeah, so with Sheila saying it's expensive, is it really dear or? And is it a one-off payment? Is it a monthly subscription? Can't remember how much you bought it ages ago. Is it just a one-off though, Wiccan? Well, I've got to tell you guys something just while we're having a little bit of a romantic interlude in the whole alien shizzle. He had dreams about chocolate monkeys years ago when he was on the nicotine patches. Fucking hell. You nut jobs. Well, listen to this now. Oh gosh. Trying to think how to word this because I don't want to give too much away. There was a reason that I got so interested in dogmen. Okay, we're only going slightly away from the aliens for a second. There was a reason I got so interested in dogmen, and it was probably about 18 months ago, something like that. So before I started doing these, you know, these lives and what have you, I'd actually done some, it's like an interview, shall we say. Well, I received a text message on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday it might have been, I'll have to check, mentioning the fact that we'd done this thing 18 months ago and there is a documentary being made about this particular thing and would I be prepared to take part in this? So watch this space. So I think at the moment we're trying to arrange for me to head over to where I need to head over to. So I'm being really cryptic, aren't I? So we're thinking that's possibly going to be the 10th of September. I don't know when this documentary is going to come out, but anyway, I'm hoping it will be quite interesting. But yeah, so I'll keep you all posted on that. So that was a little bit of interesting, exciting stuff for me. but it will explain a lot of why I'm so fascinated with some of these topics. Right, I've just got... Hi, Voodoo. How are you, lovely? Are you still working hard, or have you finished for the day now, sweets? I'm just trying to find my place in my notes. I know, Jojo. But I can't because it's not mine. I can't give too much information. That's probably about as much as I can give. So yeah, I was really excited about that. Oh, I had an email as well. Decorating your foyer, almost done. Oh. Oh, thanks for that, Wiccan. I'll just highlight that so everybody can see. That's the name of the app. CE5 Contact. So have we got any, is there a particular colour scheme, Voodoo? Knitting over for tonight. Tiffany's decided to lie on my back. What are you knitting this time, Simples? I'm just trying to find this flipping... Oh, God, where are the hell are my notes? Just bear with me. I've done my usual thing. I hate using notes on me flipping tablet because I lose them every flaming time. Every time. Right. Right, here we go. So this, scrap yarn jumper for Arlo sounds awful, but Jenny's quite a retro vintage It doesn't sound awful at all. Oh, white marble floor to ceiling 3 book. Oh, lovely. Oh, you have to show us some well, maybe a walkthrough, because my boss did that this oh no, it was yesterday morning. She's just moved house and oh my God, it's gorgeous. It's a new build, but it's not built to look new. It actually looks like an old house. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's been made with a lot of reclaimed, like reclaimed timbers and stone, and oh God, it is really nice. Massive garden. So while we're on our team meeting, she decided, because we're having this Zoom meeting, she just turned the camera around and she gave us a walkthrough of this gorgeous house. So yeah, you'll have to give us a walkthrough. Now, just looking there, I got a little bit wrong there, because when I was saying Terry Lovelace, he started at about 4 years old. He didn't. He was 8. He was 8 years old when he started seeing little monkey-like people in his bedroom at night. He continued. So these UFO sightings, it didn't just happen with his friend Toby, and it didn't just happen the once. He'd have sightings of UFOs when he was on his own, sometimes with his Air Force buddy Toby, and sometimes with his wife. And that is why his wife also shares these nightmares that they have. Now, 24 hours. So we're going to skip back now to, after they've had this encounter in the park and they've got home and they're, or back to base, and just completely, they're not wanting to talk about any of this. So he says that 24 hours after this encounter, that their lives were changed forever. Oh, sorry, let me just have a look. Vu, will Clan be doing a live on the latest on Kylie Rodney? Oh, is that the girl who ended up in the lake, was it? Yeah, I'll have a listen. I'll listen to that if he does another one on it, or does one on it. Because, you know, me interest, I'm not really that... Oh, he's listening now, is he? Oh, brilliant. So, yeah, so 24 hours after this encounter, he said the lives have changed forever. Terry believes that over that time period, they were both taken on board this spaceship. And he also says that whatever they did to him, he thinks Toby, his friend, got a double dose of it, because they never spoke about what happened, not on the drive back to Missouri, not later, except during one brief encounter. And that was when Terry assured Toby that he wasn't crazy. And it really did happen as he remembered it. Now, Terry Lovelace has been diagnosed with PTSD twice in recent years. He did say that writing the book was very therapeutic for him. He's glad that he did it. And he also found that speaking in public was very helpful as well. Now, a few people have been quite unkind and said that, you know, he's just looking for attention. Like he said, to be honest, I don't need to sell the books. It's not the object of the exercise. If you think I'm a liar, there's nothing I can do to change that. Have a nice day. And he's stuck by that as well, you know. It's the only other... Oh, thought he... Oh, you thought it might have been a shift in the info. Oh, is there more information, Simples? Sorry, Chick, while you... I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat because I don't like ignoring it while... So... I would swear it wasn't an accident. I felt it from the start. Oh. Oh, have they? They've released... Oh, released a video. Ooh, heck. Right. So... Let me get back to this bit. Now, I'd also found it was something that I thought it might be... I thought it would actually go hand in hand with this, which is about, you know, what the with the Pentagon and releasing the information. Let me just... Right. So this is about this pet. Just finished watching before you went live. All right. Okay, Wiccan. Right. So here's some of the information that we all know now, that the Pentagon have been quietly investigated. It happened in 1970. Oh gosh, hang on a minute. I'll get back to my notes. Bear with me a second. Was it 75? Oh God, 77. 1977 Voodoo, and it was at Devil's Den. He is a retired assistant attorney general from Vermont. haven't seen it yet, but some channels have updated bits. I'm waiting for. Oh, all right, okay. I like True Crime Rocket Science. Yeah, it's his story. It's quite it's sad as well. But there are free books. Voodoo. He's written 2 books on his encounters, and you can download them for free. Green Eyes is going to be gutted she's missed it. Then again, she can watch it on a rewind, can't she? So going back with all of this, there's with the fact that the Pentagon's been quietly investigating unidentified flying objects since 2007. That's what they're admitting to. Could have been sooner. I probably think it was, but they've actually admitted that they have been investigating them since 2007. Now, the fact that they think they might exist is good news to all the people who think that they've seen them or to claim that they've seen them. Now, if we go back to, so in 2021, in June of 2021, the US government published a long-awaited report into UFOs. And although the report didn't, as many people had hoped, admit to the existence of little green men, it did reveal that not only were objects appearing in our skies that the Pentagon, which controls the US military, could not explain, but some clearly pose a safety of flight issue and may pose a challenge to US national security. Voodoo, that's what I said. Attorney General is a powerful, respected position. So he, if there's ever going to be someone that you'd go, you know what, I'm going to take him as a credible source of information, it would be him. And the fact that he kept quiet for 40 years, he just didn't want to talk about it. Now, the Pentagon revealed that it's been taking UFOs so seriously that in 2007, they set up, and this was secretly, in inverted commas, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which is the AATIP. And that's been gathering data on unexplained aerial phenomenon. They're not calling them UFOs, it's unidentified aerial phenomena ever since. Now, the unclassified version of the report, there was also a classified version seen only by US lawmakers, but the unclassified version found that no clear indications that there is any non-terrestrial explanation for the sightings, but it also didn't rule it out. Tess, I've just been finding some links on Phil Schneider. I've put them in chat. Remember to look him up. On DuckDuckGo, though, not Google. Thank you, Sheila. Oh, let's have a little look. Right. I'm going to highlight that one. So there's one of the links I'm just going to put on the screen that Sheila very kindly has popped into the chat. And this is the guy that this is a guy that got into a fight with them. They can hardly deny their existence when lots of pilots have spotted shit in the skies. Well, this is it. I mean, how often has this happened? And that's the other thing as well. This Terry Lovelace, he's ex-US Air Force. He knows about, him and his mate were both, and he was a staff sergeant. They weren't just, newly jumping into the Air Force and not knowing what they're looking at. The time served officers, they know what a plane looks like. They know what a rocket looks like. They know what a helicopter looks like. They know what they look like in the day. They know what they look like in the dark. They know what they look like in fog, from a distance, close up, nearby. They know what they sound like. They're probably out of any eyewitness, Air Force, either serving or retired, were probably in one of the best positions to kind of debunk for themselves what they were looking at, or try and say, that isn't what I think it is. It must be this, it must be that. They had no other explanations than what they saw. Because, as I read before, they were trying to rule it out all the time. And this is what makes me laugh, when you know damn well what you've just seen, and then they still try and lie about it. It's like the Rendlesham Forest story. Do you remember we went over that last year about the US base in England? That's it. The most credible then say, I don't know what it was. I know. But then you'll get these who, you know damn well it's been a UFO. You know, they've got into dogfights with them in planes. They've was it a commercial airline, wasn't it, that was being flanked and followed in a bit of a distance by UFOs on both sides of the plane, and then but then afterwards they're going, well, it could have been a bird, it could have been an air balloon, it could. No, because it's similar to Terry Lovelace. He was being threatened with a court martial. It was to try and shut them up. And I don't know why they're doing it when the government are now saying, well, actually, yeah, we do admit that on certain occasions, at so many times a month, there will be some form of unexplained, unidentified aerial phenomena. In other words, there's a little aircraft, you know, buzzing our fighter pilots or the army bases. Because that's the other thing as well. There's quite a lot of incidences of them buzzing the army bases in America. That Nevada is one of the hot spots, isn't it? So, if the US military has been quietly and seriously investigating UFOs since 2007, and if the Pentagon's official report cannot rule out the existence of extraterrestrials, is it time we looked again at claims of close encounters and the people who've made them? So you've got enthusiasm for UFOs, and ET has, well, it's been part of popular culture ever since the famous US Air Force balloon crash near Roswell in 1947. And again, Air Force balloon, I don't think so. Conspiracy theorists confused the balloon for a UFO. I don't think they did. What do you guys think on that one, on the Roswell? The US government did a lousy job debunking those claims. They quickly captured the public's imagination. Yeah, you see, I know what you're doing there. Is that the do 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 do? Was that the right one for the X-Files? I'm thinking it's like it's Name That Tune, isn't it? Where you'd get like one note. The Muppets. Oh God, yeah, it is. Phenomena. Got it. I thought you were doing the X-Files. Do 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 do. So yeah, I don't think that was a Air Force balloon. I watched a program, and it had you know, they were talking about the witnesses who'd seen bits of the metal that, you know, that oh God, I can't remember the guy's name. The Air Force guy anyway, who had picked up and taken home, and he'd shown it to his son. And apparently this metal, it was malleable, and whatever you did with it, bent it, pulled it apart, it always went back to exactly the same shape. It was like memory foam, but metal. That's not an air balloon. It's not a weather balloon. Don't give a shit what they say. Absolutely not. I just also want to point out as well, guys, for me, there's no limits to what my government hides. I'm a little sceptical, while at the same time realising it's arrogant to think we're alone. Yeah, well, that's me, Voodoo. That's me. I'm not going to say it's rubbish, because I haven't seen an alien. I think if I saw an alien, you know, totally different kettle of fish, but I can't tell somebody that they haven't seen what they have. Oh, she's here, finally. Good morning, Green Eyes. We were wondering where you've been for the last hour and a half of alien-esque type chat. I was just going to say, it did make me laugh then, because we started off with quite a lot in the cheap seats, until they realised that we were just talking about what we always talk about in here, and then it plummeted. Weirdly, we've now got spectacles without bendy metal. I know, Sid. And again, is that, like Joe said before, is a bit of reverse technology? Oh, green eyes, no. Is this your back still, love? Oh. Well, there's a link there on the screen if you can copy it. And if not, it's up in the chat. Sheila's put them in. It's a link to this guy, and it's really difficult to find the stuff on him apparently now because they've silenced him and whatnot. I was telling the guys that you had like been having real bad back problems. Oh God, Christ! You've got shingles as well. Oh no! Oh, green eyes. How weird is that? Wiccan, when we were talking before about and Simples, we were talking about chicken pox, and me saying I'm amazed I've never had the shingles. Oh, you poor thing. One of my friends got it about 2 years ago, I think, all over her face. Oh shit! And I've never seen anything like it. The blisters. It was her eyes, her nose, her mouth. She looked like her husband had beaten 7 shades out of her. And because I remember saying at the time, if I didn't know him better, because he's the biggest gentleman ever, he'd cut his hand off rather than raise his hand to her. But I said, anybody else, if you were married to anyone else, I'd have thought he'd beaten the 7 ever living shades of ever living hell out of you. Oh hell, I've had it from stress. You have my utmost sympathy. Yes, Sid had just said we only mentioned it half an hour or so ago, didn't we? Simple said, is that sciatic nerve distribution? Oh, I never thought about that, Simples. I've not had chickenpox or shingles, but my mum has had shingles a few times and it can be nasty. Oh, it's over your shoulder blade. Oh, God. Shingles on your armpit and side boob. Oh, God, it sounds dreadful. That sounds dreadful. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, well, hopefully a little bit of alien gossip will cheer you up. Now, because we're talking about different things with aliens related, we've got Andrew Abata, who's a God, I can't speak here. Is a professor of psychology at Rutgers University, and he co-authored a book called "We Are Not Alone." And this is a study into why some of us want to believe in aliens. And he explains that belief in aliens is akin to, religion, really, or religiosity. Unfounded beliefs in unfalsifiable ideas which require a leap of faith. Now, people have a need to feel like their lives are meaningful, and these beliefs might suggest that there's something bigger out there, there's something more important going on. This is obviously his theory, by the way. Now, to try and in response to this, the guy who I'm reading here, this author said, he told him about an interview he carried out with a young man in Florida. He didn't want to be named, but he was described an ambiguous close encounter that took place during his sleep. Now, when he was asked what he preferred the truth to be, a real encounter or merely a vivid dream, the young man said he would prefer it to be true because that would mean he was special. Bit like being on here, really, that, isn't it? Let's just make shit up because it'll make us special. Now, there's still a lot of sensitivity that is surrounding alien encounters, the whole topic. And this author here discovered just how sensitive a topic it was when author Whitley Strieber, who well, it's claimed he was abducted by non-humans in 1985, hung up the phone after after learning that he hadn't read his books. And he did say, I don't know if I was abducted by aliens or not. The whole point of my work is to describe what happened to me and attempt to understand what it was. I was turned into alien abductee Whitley Strieber by the media. That's not my position. So there's a lot of still people who, you know, to all intents and purposes, no, I know, me neither, but to all intent, I can't, what is wrong with my mouth tonight? For all intent and purposes, I can't even say it. Anyway, I'll leave that one there because my tongue is just not going to wrap around that one. Anyway, we'll go back to the Pentagon now. So the Pentagon's conceded that there is more to UFOs than, you know, has met the eye. Now, that 9-page report, I wonder if it must be publicly available, mustn't it? Most of the unidentified aerial phenomena reported probably do represent physical objects, given that a majority of these UAPs were registered across multiple sensors to include radar, infrared, electro-optical, weapon seekers, and visual observation. So in other words, there's something out there and the images were not technical glitches. All aircraft, either nationally or internationally, have to broadcast who they are. If they're not broadcasting that, that's very unusual. So, and that came from a, no, what was he? Sorry, I'm just trying to find his position. A air traffic controller. Right. So after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, unidentified air tracks escalate very quickly. So these are from, you know, if there are any nearby aircraft, it'll go to the captain, it'll go to the admiral. They'll want to know, you know, what that is, because the thought would immediately be, is this a commercial airliner? Has it been hijacked? All of these things have to be taken into account. So despite the debunkers and proliferation of more mundane explanations for UFOs, reports of close encounters, they've just persisted for decades. Now, let me just go here, because there's a mention here of Alan Godfrey. And do you remember we covered him? God, he's 73, flipping heck, nearly 74. PC Alan Godfrey is the guy who had the encounter in Todmorden. So the way it's described here is, on a windswept and wet West Yorkshire evening in November 1980, Godfrey was in hot pursuit of a herd of escaped cows in Todmorden's housing estate. Instead of cows, he stumbled across a giant levitating diamond that would change the course of his life. Godfrey's close encounter with this UFO went viral worldwide and transformed Todmorden into Britain's Roswell. You know, he's long retired from the police force, but he still recalls the events of that night when he came face to face with the peculiar object, a diamond-shaped aircraft hovering 5 foot off the ground, spinning on its axis. He just had time to sketch the UFO on his notepad before he was blinded. And this was where he kind of passed out, came to, and he had like the massive time lapse, wasn't it? Incidentally, now you want to be oh, you see, I should start singing to you now, shouldn't I? I'm trying to think of the what. Do you remember in the that Kanye West song Gold Digger, and there's a bit about a diamond, isn't there? But I can't get to the right bit of it. I'd have to go through the entire song, and I will not subject you all to that. Now, I wonder, has anybody heard anything about, do you remember when we covered Alan Godfrey, and in the comments, was it his cousin or whatever, had commented and, you know, had thanked us for covering the what's that, Sid? How do you save the links? Oh, right. Probably gone back up to Sheila's, because she's put them in the chat, hasn't she? Said, yes, sir. And do you remember his cousin or whatever it was had come in and thanked us for covering, you know, sympathetically covering his case. And they said that he was in the process, it was in negotiations to do a movie. But I haven't heard anything about this. Has anybody else heard anything? I mean, the best one is going to be, I think, would probably be Julia, because if you remember, her husband worked with Alan Godfrey. Now, they're away at the moment. Click on them and save them to watch later. And Voodoo, I use save for later using the 3 ellipses. Oh, let me see if I can do that. I'm learning something new every day. Do you know, I bet I can't, because with it being in StreamYard. Oh no, I can't do it on here. The only thing I get is star comment, put user in timeout or block user. And I don't want to be blocking the old Sheila. My goodness. Oh, well, the thing is, you can always come back through, Sid, because obviously I leave my lives up and you can go back into the chat and pick it out if you want. I'm trying to work out how many hours I can do tonight, because I'm on me. I've used 9, so I'm gone 10, 11. I think I've used about 11 hours of my free 20 now. So I'm having to, because I had to let my subscription go. So in order to be able to deliver you a wonderful service, or at least just have somewhere where we can all have a natter, I'm trying not to do too long lives in one go. Now, going on the back of what I was just saying about Alan Godfrey and the likening him, in one of the articles that I found, there's a bit of likening of Alan Godfrey and Terry Lovelace, you know, and how they were treated once. Because with Alan Godfrey, it was more or less immediately, because he went straight back to the station and said what he'd seen. And I don't know if you heard that then. That's flipping Porky upstairs screaming. He's playing his stupid game again. He went back and, you know, to the station and reported what had happened. But so he was open to ridicule immediately from the rest of his work colleagues. I don't understand why that was allowed to happen, because if you remember, didn't his sergeant go back out with him? So there wasn't just him on his own when they went back out, and they found the cows in that, was it the cricket ground? But there was no foot, because it was a wet evening, the ground was wet. There was no cattle hoof prints going in or out of the field, and the only because it was an enclosed area with a fence around it, and the only way in was about a quarter of a mile further down the road, and there were no tracks from there. He's screaming, check for probings. I wouldn't probe that, I tell you. Absolutely not. So yeah, so here they kind of they liken Terry and Alan. So this little piece again is about Lovelace. So Terry Lovelace's night in Devil's Den changed his life and the life of his friend Toby. The US Air Force, this is the bit where he was mentioning before about having to start writing everything down. The US Air Force got wind of their ordeal and, per military protocol, separated and reassigned them both. Now, Lovelace ignored his orders and visited Toby to say goodbye. Toby was falling apart, said Terry. The two embraced. Toby said, "It happened, didn't it?" "Yes, my brother, it really happened. You're not losing your mind." And that's what Terry confirmed to him. Now, Terry Lovelace has suffered enormously since that night. As he said, he's had 40 years of nightmares. He has a phobia of crossing open ground. He still sleeps, believe it or not, with the light on, and he has a gun beside his bed. But he feels vindicated by acknowledgements made by the US government, military personnel, and he even said Barack Obama. "I've got a long list of people that I'm going to email and say, I told you so." Now, for Alan Godfrey, it's 40 years too late. He's adamant about what he saw that night in Todmorden. And he said, "I've had all sorts. You fall, you fell into some sort of a trance while you were driving, all that shit." And he said, "No, it was real. It left debris on the road. My headlights were reflecting off it, as were the blue lights. This was a real incident. I didn't need the Pentagon to tell me there are things out there. I know what I saw that night was real. It was nuts and bolts. If I'd got out and thrown a brick at it, it would have gone clang. It doesn't change what happened to me and how I was treated back then." And I feel really sorry for Alan Godfrey. Really sorry for him. Alan Godfrey, although in there they're likening him to Terry Lovelace, and I think possibly because they both came from positions of trust and authority. So you've got an assistant attorney general and you've got a police officer who, was basically a British police officer working during the time when a policeman's word was everything. You didn't doubt the police. You didn't think the police would lie or fabricate or anything. It was, if a policeman said, "This is what happened," then this is what happened. And I think with, so although in the article they're likening them both, and I think that's why, because of the positions, I think that Terry Lovelace, I think, has had a, dare I say, easier ride. I think Alan Godfrey, my feelings, and I don't know what anybody else feels, is that he has been lumped together more like a Travis Walton. If you guys remember Travis Walton and his story and what happened there. You see, the problem with Alan Godfrey is that where it happened and when it happened, because don't forget, he was the officer that was there when the gentleman was found on the top of the coal pile. No, with no way that he could have got up there, being how he was, the gentleman who had disappeared. So I genuinely think this was a rather successful attempt at silencing Alan Godfrey. So when I go over to do this thing with Julia and her son, when they're back from, so it's going to be sometime this month or early into October, because I think we're probably going to go like in the Pendle direction. I'm hoping that her husband will kind of get involved, because he worked with Alan Godfrey, so I'm hoping that he's got maybe some tales to tell. I don't know. But I'm really, really looking forward to doing that. I really am. Oh, Oh, Frida, I know. I don't think, I'm not sure if we'd do it live though, because um, there's a couple of different bits and pieces, aren't there? Because you see, if I'm over that way anyway, if I'm going to meet them, oh, which one, Wiccan? Oh, the what, Travis Walton? He's, yeah, Travis has been treated as a bit of a nut all his life. Do you know about the Rendlesham Forest? I covered that one, Sheila. Yeah, I did Rendlesham Forest. Um, let me. I'll have to go back because I can't remember. Bear with me, and I'll just have a little look. But yeah, I covered Rendlesham Forest. It's the U.S. Army officers, wasn't it? I'll see if I can find which one it was for you. Because it was, oh gosh. I bet it was about 3. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, so if you're not, I don't know if if you didn't see it, Sheila, it will be there because, yeah, all of my lives are up. The only one that's ever come down was the New Year's one. Oh, Wiccan, it's a weird effing place. It's very dark. Every Halloween, I mean, obviously I didn't go the last couple of years because with COVID and whatnot, but it was stopped for a while. But every Halloween, people used to walk up to the top of Pendle Hill and be all sorts of people, in fancy dress, but it attracted a lot of drinkers and all sorts of stuff. But yes, it is. Yeah, it's a very weird place. I've been up there at night. I've been up there in the daytime. It's got, how do I describe it? It's weird. The Maybe it's just because I'm me, and maybe you'd feel it because you're you, Wiccan. Um, it's not a happy place. You go to some places and it feels, even on the brightest of days, it's got a like you're sinking in quicksand type of feeling, like a weight of the world on your shoulders type of feeling. Yes, Frida, Uncle P. That's the one that's been, yes. So that's the only one of my lives that's ever gone. I'd be up for that, Sid. But there'd have to be a big group. I wouldn't just go like with me and him, because obviously we're on about going to, because you see, I want to go and film those star people at Townley. But see, that's a different live. So what I think I would probably do is go there first, get some filming for that to back up when I do the live on those mummies. And which I can't. Is Joe still here? Jojo, are you still here, love? Can you remember well, you will know the actual names of them? Oh, and Sheila as well. And Simples, we get Simples to come little tootle down the M6. Oh, there's Joe. We'd conjure such big, absolutely we would. Can you remember the name, Jojo? You know these star people in South America? The ones that look like Vikings, but they were the ruling class for I can't remember, was it for wasn't the Incas, was it? I know you'll remember, but anyway, they've got those skeletons, those mummies that are at Townley Hall. So I want to do those ones, but again, there's no point me doing that the night I go over to Burnley to meet Julia and her family, because the two different, although they're kind of a little bit connected, they'll be two totally different subjects. Yeah, that's right. Oh, it's okay, Jojo. Thank you. I'll have a little look. In fact, do you know what? Because I've got two devices, I'll be able to have a little look. Oh, all right, Green. Oh, I don't know what can you take for your shingles, Green Eyes? Is there, can you put cream on them or something? No. Oh, it was the Incas, wasn't it? Ah, sorry. Do you know what? I keep calling them. I keep saying the star people. It's not. I got it so wrong, didn't I? Cloud people, and they're actually called the Chachapoya or Chacapoya. I don't know it's spelled Chacapoya. So hang on. Right, I'm going to put it in the chat. So, Joe, would that be Chachapoya or Chacapoya? Was it a hard C or a ch? Because I don't like to pronounce things incorrectly. Oh, is it? Oh, right, okay. Aloe vera. Aloe vera is good for everything, though, isn't it? Oh, thank you, Jojo. So, Chachapoya. Yes, Sheila. Yeah. So those Peruvian mummies, those cloud people. I don't know why I kept saying it's because I'm thinking of the star children, isn't it? Star people. So the cloud people. Yeah. If you remember a couple of months ago when we were talking about these, we just kind of touched on them. But near where I used to live, there is a place called Townley Hall, and I did some work out there, and they have two of these mummies, these Peruvian mummies in there, and they're these cloud people, and I want to go and see. I've been wanting to go and see them forever. When I was working there, I just couldn't get away from my work colleagues. I was like, for fuck's sake. So I never ended up being able to go in and have a look at them, and then moving house. And as you know, when we spoke to Julia back, months ago about coming over there, and then I ended up moving house, didn't I? So it's kind of all been put on hold. But yeah, I desperately want to go in there and see them. And I don't know, I just have a feeling, Sheila, that I'm going to have a bit of an experience. Oh, Jojo used aloe vera plant gel on her shingles. No scarring, fast healing. Oh, have you got it growing in the garden, Green Eyes? Bloody hell. Sheila, they made them drink hot chili and other herbs, a mixture that made them vomit and poo and feel drugged mainly. A specially selected child. So who did that? Was that the Incas did it to the Chachapoya, or the Chachapoya did it to the normal Incas? But they just fascinate me. These blue-eyed, blonde and red-haired, tall, pale-skinned ruling class. I mean, where the fuck did they come from? They supposedly were offered to the gods that lived on the mountain. Used to look after a lady who had shingles, put the juice from the plant she had on it. Very good. Yeah, Joe. If you can come and join me even when we do that live. But yes, I'm going to go and film those, because I mean, what are the odds of a topic that we've been discussing, and we've discussed it several times, that there being two of these flipping mummies in a little town in Lancashire? of no great consequence, and 2 of these flipping mummies from Peru are there. So yeah, so I'm getting really excited because I actually need to respond to Julia, because she sent me an email which I've got with contact details on about sorting this this trip over there. But I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Oh God, stop bragging, Green Eyes. I was growing aloe vera. I did have quite a large plant actually. I had it in a huge tub, and then when I moved house, I put it outside. You know when you're cleaning up, and I was cleaning up stuff, and I put it outside, and we had a frost, and it killed it. Yeah, I think so, Sheila. But I think I'll be very scared. I've got a feeling that I will do the filming, and then I'll go and sit in the car and leave Porky to go and go round, you know, wherever it was with Julia and her son. 4 foot round it's taken. Oh, bloody hell, fire. That's a big old unit, isn't it, Green Eyes? You need to get in, you need to have a jacuzzi. Do what I was doing last night with, I was showing off last night, chatting to Wicken, showing her the, our spa bath while it was going, but I was like, no, I'm only lying, I'm trumping in the water, but I wasn't. If you peel the aloe with a peeler, you'll get the gel out better. Oh, okay. Sid, I'd rather be in the car with the doors locked. I don't know, actually, though. No, well, it depends where I would be parked. If I was parked somewhere well lit, I wouldn't mind. But if I wouldn't like to be in the car on my own on a dark country lane, especially with things that I know, you know, are out and about up round Pendle. I mean, there was something that was near my friend, and she lives. It's like kind of on the outs. There's like little. Oh, I suppose years ago there would probably have been more like little hamlets. So she lives on the outskirts of Burnley. It's a place called Padiham, and there was years ago. I remember. God, she rang me up and she was like, "There's been like this big cat sighting." I was saying, "Get lost, as the wreck." She's like, "No, it's called the Padiham, and it is called the Padiham Panther." And then not long after this, so where I was living, I was kind of further over onto the moors. There was a big cat print found in the snow, and they were putting this down to the Paddy and Panther because they said that I think they travel, you know, like 50. I don't know if it's 50 or 100 miles. They're capable as their territory, which, you know, was well within the scope of travelling from Burnley over to, you know, say like Rivington and back again. And Rivington is over towards the Bolton, like on the outskirts of Bolton or Horwich or what have you. You know, it's not unimaginable that a Black Panther could have done that. Your leaves 2 foot long and 4 foot across. Bloody hell, fire, Green Eyes. You could be making a fortune on that, love. Squeeze the leaf and pinch the end of the cut side to side for later, like a tube of toothpaste. I used to, when I had my big aloe vera plant, I would cut off. Well, Sid, there you go. I was going to say I used to put it in an airtight tub in the fridge, and I also used to put cling film. So if I, you know, cut the end, and then I would put cling film round it, and then that would go into an airtight container in the fridge. Nothing better for burns, though. In fact, it's good for everything, isn't it? I mean, I know it doesn't taste particularly nice, but I know people who've bought it from the health food shops. My friend's mum, actually, she has an ulcer, and it was recommended to her because she just didn't want to go down the whole medication route and possible surgery if she could help it. So she was told to drink the aloe vera gel because not only did she have an ulcer, she also had IBS. Yes, it is great for sunburn. Although when I've on the occasion that I got burned when I was in Australia, didn't have aloe vera. Do you know what they stuck on me? Yogurt. I smelled like curdled milk in about 3 minutes. It was awful. It did, however, help the burn. Yeah, that's what I've heard, green eyes, that it's good for the digestion, but yeah, but it doesn't taste great though, does it, Wiccan? You're saying you can drink it. But yeah, there's nothing you can't do with it. It's one of those great things like garlic. Oh, which has just reminded me, green eyes, coconut oil and aloe vera, great for inside and out. Yeah, I use coconut oil as well, Jojo. In fact, does anybody else have bulletproof coffee? And if you have to ask me what bulletproof coffee is, then I'll take it that you don't. But I use, because Jojo, you probably have heard of it, but I use coconut oil instead of butter for me bulletproof. Oh yeah, I'm Voodoo Queen. Yeah. So it's if you don't want to use the butter, give it a go with coconut oil. And it actually does taste really nice. My friend nearly vomited when she went, "You have butter in coffee?" I'm like, "Yeah, but it." Yes, the butter bit did make. I found that quite minging as well. Simples, however, with coconut oil in, it was different. Yeah, it's still a bit gloopy, but I don't know, the taste of it, I found it more manageable than just drinking it with butter. Oh, did you, Wick? So yeah, Green Eyes, you'll have missed this bit, and Jojo, you may have missed it. I'm not sure. And Voodoo, um, when I had put that Lavanya little short video up the other day, Barbara commented on it, and she was saying that she does a good, that it looked good, and she does a mean lasagna. And then I'd said I was thinking of maybe doing a live where we can all swap some swap recipes or tips or what have our favorite things, because I know we do this quite a lot in here, don't we? So and then Paula Nichols had come in, and she was really up for it. So I'm just wondering what you guys thought, if you fancy doing that one night. All come with your favorite recipe or craft, or because obviously we've got crafters in here, haven't we? Yeah, you didn't do it, you end up in the loo. Yeah, so that lasagna was a little bit on the spicy side. I think I overdid it with the Carolina Reaper flipping hot sauce in it. Oh my goodness, and a bum like a blood orange. And I would like, can I make a request then if we do that? I would like Jojo Madre to share her recipe that she was making with all her family last Christmas. And with the, oh gosh, I'm going to say it wrong, Anna. No, I'm not going to say it because I know I'm going to say it wrong. Does that make the sweet corn have an even swifter exit? Oh, what's that? Yeah, sweet corn. It's one of those, isn't it? Sweet corn and tomatoes are the two foods that the human body can't digest, isn't it? Tamales. Thank you, Jojo. That was it. Yeah, they sounded so delicious when you were describing them. Yeah, we're talking about shit. Here we go. Well, you see, I always wondered. Um, you're joking, green eyes. You see, I used to wonder, as a kid, when you're driving past it, I used to think, because was a, I can remember my granddad saying about, all the plants that were growing in the sewage farm, and they were saying, oh, they grow tomatoes there. And I was thinking, why would anybody grow tomatoes on people's shit? Because I wouldn't want to eat them. And I'm thinking, oh, the dirty buggers who work at I was thinking it was the fellas who worked at the sewage farm were growing tomatoes on them. I didn't realise the tomatoes were growing because there were seeds in people's shit. Oh, hang on, what's Wiccan say? Ooh, what are that flipping dog? Come here. Come here now. Lie down. I know, Sheila, but it was one of those things that I didn't know about it, and I just thought it was really disgusting that someone would grow tomatoes there, because I thought, I mean, I know it's not the case now, but I genuinely thought that was like where all tomatoes were grown. I thought that was what farmers did, and they grew the. I just, and it was years and years and years later that somebody actually told me why. I was like, oh, great. But yeah, sweet corn again. Sweet corn's another thing. Tomatoes. I think I don't know about chicken shit. I've heard about bullshit, like literally grown in bullshit, like cow shit, bullshit. Tomatoes. Brilliant! I love it. Tomatoes and tomatoes. Do you know we're going to be? There'll be a whole dictionary started off with us now. All these new words. I don't know. So yeah, so I would like everybody to think about a recipe or a craft, because I said green eyes, it doesn't have to be food, because there's like yourself who likes crafting, and Fern makes her things, and Kathy, she does a crafting, and Simples with a knitting. What oh, hang on. Oh, recipe tamales, Wiccan. No, you do your knitting as well, Simples. Yeah, but I said I don't make anything. I bake and whatnot, but yeah, tamales, that was it. They just sounded amazing, didn't they, Wiccan? Because I see, I don't know a lot about Mexican food and Italian food. Yeah, I'm not so great on French either. Well, you were making them, but your whole family was there, wasn't it? Like aunties and daughters and sisters and mothers, and everybody was just making them together. And I thought that was a lovely thing for Christmas Eve. Lovely. Because I can't remember, was it you or was it somebody else whose mum would make them for the neighbourhood? Was that your mum, Jojo? I just remember somebody saying that somebody's mother used to make them for, and the neighbourhood kids had come in and pick up their tamales. Mexican Frida. I can do. Well, I've got some pretty good Italian recipes. Yeah, it's a family gathering. We all take them home later. Your mum made them for everyone. Oh, thank you. I thought I'd remembered somebody telling me that. Thank you, Jojo. Actually, why am I calling you Jojo? I should be calling you by your proper name. Thank you, Salma. I love Mexican and Indian food. Hobby makes the best curry. Takes him about 3 hours stood there cooking it. Oh, did I not send you what I'd made? Green eyes. I didn't know if I'd sent you the little video. So I made we had a curry night before little Porklet went on a holidays with her mum. Did a curry night. So I was in the kitchen here making curries for both of them. So bless her little cottons, she had, oh God, right. Well, next time you speak to him, ask him how bad it was. So I made little Porklet a korma. So I took a video, and there's a big pan of korma going for her. I made him a fowl. I'd got him from the I forgot what the name of the place is, the curry. Oh, I think they might be called Curry Masters or something. Anyway, they were at, whoever they are, they were at Clitheroe Food Festival, and I picked up a kit to make a fowl. And that's what he had. Oh my God, it was as, I can't even tell you. It wasn't just stingy ring. Oh, cannelloni, Frida, is that what you're on about? The cannelloni and the stuffed? Oh no, no, they're not sweet things. Sorry. What are those Italian stuffed tube sweets? So, sorry, I thought you were on about the pasta stuff with men's sweet things. Oh, the ones that they've got the chocolate in them. $20 different spices, 20 chilies, hot. This thing was like molten lava. It was, yeah, and I had to, what was left, I just saw the terror on his face. I've had to try and calm it down a bit with some sour cream. So I've got 2 big portions of that now in the freezer. At one point, there was a little bit splashed on my finger, and I licked my finger and I nearly died. So that's how hot the damn thing was. Don't mind a vindaloo. Yeah, well, he likes a vindaloo, and I've done him vindaloo curry pie, and he loves that. But yeah, the fowl, I thought. But the thing is, you see, Sid, he told me when he were in the army, he had a fowl, and he finished it. So I thought, bullshit. I was testing him. He said to me, you didn't believe me. He said, you're always there. You have to. I said, no, I just thought you might like it. Oh, Jojo, it is lovely. It is really, really nice. I mean, obviously, you just make, we don't put kidney beans in it. So rather than a bolognese base, we make a chili. But I don't like kidney beans, so they get left out. But yeah, within that, I'd put there was a load of chili paste had gone into it. The Carolina Reaper hot sauce had gone into it. I'd got chopped up chilies had gone into it as well. There was I know it was going for more of a Thai feel, but I put some bird eye chilies in there as well. And then to layer it, instead of the bechamel sauce, I mean, well, really, it's like a pasta cheese sauce. So, you know, if you have the pasta bakes, and you'll just get a jar of sauce and pour it on it and stick it in the oven. So it was one of those. And because it was just a cheese pasta bake sauce, I added again into that. I put some chili paste, and I put some of the Carolina Reaper hot sauce into that as well. So, and then I layered it up. So it was like the pasta sheets, and then the chili. Then I'd put the cheesy pasta chili sauce on it. Then, the other thing I did as well, between each layer, just a little sprinkle of mozzarella. And then I built it up. And then at the very top, the last layer was, there were squares of chili cheese. So chili cheese slices and mozzarella as well. And it was absolutely delicious, if I must say so myself. So yeah, but you can do your worst with that. But yeah, that's the only thing that I didn't do. It kind of traditional chili was no kidney beans. I just can't eat them. Oh, you meant cannolis. Oh, right. Sorry, Frida. Thank you. Thanks, Joe, for that. Yeah, it's. But the weird thing is, I don't know whether it's because it's combined with the pasta and the cheese and everything. But because I like a chili, but I don't like it that much that I go over the top for it. But this thing, this is lasagna. God, I could genuinely, if it wasn't that it would play havoc on my guts and my arsehole, I could have eaten the entire huge dish of it because it is so good. Anyway, green eyes. We have, not tonight, obviously, because I will have to wrap this up very shortly because I'm running out of hours, and I want to be able to, come on and do a couple of hours in a few days' time with you all as well. My next live is going to be some more of those mysterious animal attacks. And I've got some doozies, absolute doozies for you. There is an Australian one. There are, as always, several in America. And it's not animal attack, but there is a couple of cases in the UK, especially for those of us over here. Yes, green eyes, Australia. Oh, I've got a chili sauce in the cupboard called Who Dares Burns. You should get one for Porky. Oh, I will do, Sid. And in fact, here's one. Green eyes. I don't know if your husband has had this because I got it from Australia. Shit the bed. Have you tried that one yet, Sid? And it is actually a nice, it sounds evil, but it is actually a nice sauce. I'm just going to see if I can find you the link for the shit the bed, because as far as I'm aware, they're not selling. Haven't you agreed? Oh God, no! I got it from Australia. Right, hang on a minute. I'm going to find the link. I'll post it. See, look at that. We've done serious aliens, and then we go straight onto this. Yeah, it's Bunster's Shit the Bed. Right, let me see. It's on Amazon. Right. Okay, bear with me. I am going to send this. If I can, oh, shine a light. Copy that. Right, bear with me a minute. This, I know it is why the aliens don't want us. Just I told you, Jack's paper's in the freezer. Right, I'm about to give you the link for this one. So, for those of you who don't believe that there is such a thing as shit the bed. But yeah, as I said, it was a very, very nice, hot but nice sauce. Right, let's get this up. There you go. Bunster shit the bed. You make your own shit the bed sauce, green eyes, do you, you dirty bugger? I like that. Who dares burns? Listen, Wicked, my paper's going to have to be living in the damn freezer, I tell you. Yeah, Jojo, get some for your husband. This is... Yeah, bloody shit the bed. Yeah, that was the reason I got that was my friend brought it back for me, knowing that I love, because I like hot things, and I was like, oh my God, because I'd done the I'd eaten, the ghost pepper challenge. I'd done that, and then we'd done the Carolina Reaper, and at my friend's husband's house. Yeah, you absolutely do. I'll tell you what, they need to make little bullet shaped aloe vera suppositories, don't they, for that to take away the burn. Yeah, but the worst thing is, I always forget when I made that file for him. I had the bit on my finger, so I licked my finger, nearly died. What did I do? Rub me damn nose. It is the colour of shit, Sheila. I'm sure you'll find some somewhere. Everybody wants it just for the name. Yeah, you have to get a bottle. It's just for the comedy value, if nothing else, Frida, isn't it? Your favourite isn't that hot. It's called Frank's. Love it on pizza. Okay. We have, I've got all sorts. Sorry, I just couldn't try that. The name of it makes me gape. Sid, down to earth humour and my northern bluntness. No wonder I am looked at weird. We love you, Green Eyes. We love you. Has anybody tried though? You know those the challenge, isn't it? What's it called? The Devil's Toe. Have you seen it? It's like a lolly, but it's chili lolly. God Slayer fucking hot sauce. Best. Oh really? Is that the actual name of it, Lady Witch? God Slayer fucking hot sauce. Or is there a bit of artistic licensing there? Just want to make sure before we all start Googling like mad. Kind of sauce you stick on the table when the mother-in-law comes round. Oh my goodness. I still will never, ever forget my friend. Oh, I nearly said her name then. My friend, and that's the name, the third hottest. Oh, really? All right, everybody then. I'll put that one up on the screen so that we can all have a look for it. When it finally goes, there we go. The third hottest sauce in the world. Now, I've just noticed that picture, Lady Witch. Is that you? I'm just going to say, if it is, it's a very sexy photo. Very nice, I may add, but very sexy. Is that shit the ceiling? Well, listen, when I did that, the ghost pepper oh God almighty, it was really bad. We had to eat them, and it was like not having a drink of anything. And I'd eaten it. I did eat it. I did manage it, and I did the challenge where I didn't have anything for 5 minutes, and then got on, trying to eating dry bread and what have you. It was so bad. But then my stomach later, it probably was about half an hour later, the cramps in my stomach off this damn chili. For the people who complain nobody uses their own picks. Well, I don't know which sexy mama I'm using as my pick. Either. Maniacs. Absolute lunatics. But yeah, so I ended up with my stomach cramping, and then I thought I was going to be sick. So I was over the toilet, and you do the dry bulk, so I'm like, and there was nothing coming at all. And every time I did kind of that, the whole like, my stomach just, it went into, like labour pains, I guess. And my head was banging. I thought it was rupturing a blood vessel in my head and my neck. Awful. Awful. So yeah, I thought never again. So I'm usually pretty careful with, and I genuinely believe that caused me some permanent damage. That did, because I've never been the same since I did that stupid challenge. Oh, it's why you change your picture too. The thing is, I don't, you know, what does it matter if we've got our own photos up? Do you know what I mean? Bog off. It's, in it. Well, we've always seen what you've looked like, lovely Frida, haven't we? Sexy mama, who looks like a daughter's sister. I loved that video of your daughter having a bit of a boogie at the Simply Red. She was having such a good time, wasn't she? I have to have a little look because I'm not getting notifications. I missed genetic codes last two. I don't know. I think I missed bedtimes as well. The last time that he went live, you know, the bedtime, the stalker, apparently. Oh, it's your grand kitty. Oh, but the thing is, we know what you look like as well, Jojo. Another sexy mama. Stella's another sexy mama. Sheila's a sexy mama. I don't know what the obsession is with wanting to see what people really look like. If people don't want to put the real face on the internet, then they don't have to, do they? But they're a pair of knockers, I can tell you that, Lady Witch. Oh, you get them late. I just don't get them at all, Sheila. I don't get them. I stopped getting any for BAM. I know that quite a few people don't get them for me, which is, you know, that's fine because I think most people watch me on catch up anyway. Let me just have a see if I've missed anything there. But yeah, I hadn't really noticed what your photograph was. That's what I was like, oh, eh? Now, how do you get a pair of knockers looking that symmetrical? There's no way, no matter what kind of a frock I'd get, that mine would look that tidy. Just saying. I mean, they're not particularly big, mine anyway. However, you know, I've got decent boobies. They're not massive, but yeah, I don't think I could ever get him to sit. I'd have to tape the buggeration out of him. She was also. There's a vid up of the beautiful dogs. Oh, is there? Oh, brilliant. Okay, Frida, thank you. I'll have a little look. That's what I was going to say, Lady Witch. I'd have to tape the buggeration out of him. Voluptuous because it's sitting there with the eyes on stalkies. Hey, listen, I was showing my knees off last night, I'll have you all know. Wiccan can bear me out on this, yes. More manageable. Oh, there you go, Simples. That's with all the weights and everything, isn't it? Green eyes, I have to stand on my head to get them that high. Oh dear. I don't. Well, I'm a little bit more conservative, shall we say? Anyway, I've never liked having my cleavage out. Don't know why. Just yeah. I don't know. It's me really. I think I've always been bothered in case one fell out. Yeah. Lady Witch scaringly tall. I know she's Amazonian, isn't she? She's like Lady Witch is the goddess for all those like little leprechauns and yeah, the Diddy men. Based on the dress, I had to go high. Well, some things just have to be done, don't they? That does look like a dress that you need a proper cleavage for, innit? Bloody hell, 30-kilogram bent over row, personal best. My goodness. So what's that? 30 kilo. Cooper. Sorry, Cat. Cooper. Stop. So what? I'm trying to think. What's that in stones then? 30 kilos? So that'd be, I don't know, was that about 60 pounds, is it? Something like that. So I don't know what, £60, about 5 stone or something. God. Fly high, my motto, you look stunning. She absolutely does. She deserves to be on the screen for a good length of time. 10 reps on set 5, amazing. You're doing bloody well, you are, Simples. I need to start. I need to get on it. I'm letting myself go a little bit, so we're not having that at all. So I need to check with you all. What is the what days would you say are the best ones for you guys? Because I'll go with the general consensus of opinion for having for doing a live, because like I said, because I've given my subscription back. I'm on the 23 hours now. I've used, I'm only just into the start of the month, and I've already used like well, hang on, we're on 12 hours now. So I've only got another 8 hours to go. So I'll have to make them spin out. I mean, I think that if like say, I've started a live, I'm sure if it goes over the 20 hours, they'll let you carry on until you end. So basically, I've got in the region of 3 more lives that I can do to spin it out for the rest of the month. So if I do one a week, yeah, any days I'm a retired lazy ass. I know Frida, she's a massive Amazon, isn't she? Another one there. So yeah, so any day is okay for Simples. How about the rest of you? Any day a good day, or any particular one that you prefer? And I'm happy to do that. And then I'll plan my next one in, which is going to be all of these unexplained animal related deaths. Any time for you as well? Okay. And is this time all right for everybody if I start like 8:30ish, something like that? We'll have to do another any day, any time for me. I don't really sleep much and not working while Nancy's poorly. Okay, Sid, no problem. Well, I'll do what I always do, which is make sure I get them in on time. That I'll book them in, and then hopefully you kind of get advance warning. Okay, Lady Witch. All right. Well, I'll pick a day then. I'll pick a day for next week, and we shall do one. But yeah, I've got to stop talking shite so much. That's why it's kind of been a bit quick tonight, because I didn't want to use all the hours up for you all. Maybe we might even throw an incognito in as well, just to make the most of it, get it all done. Which incidentally, I did get fed back that you go to bed at 10:30 through the week, though you may fall asleep. No problem, Sheila. I go to bed early as well during the week because I'm working as well. I'm just going to say that I was informed that apparently I did a live that was dedicated to somebody's private parts. Not that interesting. It was an incognito night, just for the people who were sitting in the cheap seats having a listen. My incognito nights have been going since I started doing these lives. So it's up to the chat what they come in as. And the chat determined the course, unless I've given a topic out. If it's a free-for-all, then they come in as whatever they want. And if everybody decided to come in as they did the last one, then that's up to them. So please don't flatter yourself. I don't do lives dedicated to anybody unless they're my friends, like I did for Green Eyes when her mum went back to the UK. All right, just wanted to get that out there. Sick of considering people are sick of lies, they're doing enough lying themselves. Daughter always here on Tuesday for girly night, but don't worry, I can always catch up. No, it's fine. We won't do it on a Tuesday. I know. Oh, I know you was a chocolate. You were the chocolate bar. Jojo, I tell you, I still think the funniest one yet was the aliens one. So I don't know whether I might do a topic. I might pick a topic because I think it makes it a little bit more interesting, doesn't it? If I set the topic that you've all got to conform to. But by the way, has anybody seen Fern around? Has Fern been online? I think we got carried away that night. We feed off each other, but it's only a laugh. I know it is, Sid, but you know, people and only a certain type of person would assume that everyone is that fascinated by the nethering. Well, the thing is, do you know what I mean? It's like my dad has said, you know, I don't give offence, you choose to take it. Whatever, I'm not asked, but that's all I wanted to say. Not that fascinating to me or important that I'm going to do a whole live dedicated to you. If you watch back through all my lives, you'll see that I've done these on numerous occasions and the entire chat leads them. Okay. And the same goes for apparently, well, I believe am I heading over to find her in Burnley, apparently? Not at all. I couldn't give a shit where you are in Burnley. I've been planning to go to Burnley to a friend's house for months. And again, go back through all my lives and you'll see how often it's been mentioned. And it was put on hold because I've moved house. Not that I need to explain to the likes of you. All right? Have we sorted that one out now? Because considering people don't tell lies, you're doing a bloody good job of it. And that's all I'm going to say on that. We did a doggy doo-doo. Oh, we did, didn't we? It was the white dog poo. We did. But yeah, I was a bit worried about Fern. I believe she got a dragging, and it was not nice. And apparently, I believe that Darzen was treated pretty poorly as well. So, I don't think that's very fair at all because he's a nice guy. I hope she's okay though. She did get some undeserved abuse from a certain channel, and it's best not be affecting her. Oh God, yeah, Simple's. Do you remember when Simple's cat did that vertical shit? It was what do we call it? A shit. It was the shitolith, wasn't it? Yeah, maybe then if I do. So my next one's going to be all these unexplained animal-related deaths. So I think if we do, yeah, maybe. Hang on, and what? What have I said there, Wiccan? Do you know what? In the space of like 30 seconds, I forget what I've said and what. Oh, feck off. Oh, the thing. Oh, yeah, going over there. Yeah, I'm with you. Some people think Dara's turned on Bam because he's being fair. Well, I didn't listen to the shite, but, you know, it's been fed back to me. And, yeah, Dar was just exhibiting what I've experienced of proper Norwegian manners. So, but this is why people wouldn't, you know what I mean? Why is anybody going to bother apologizing for anything or saying, I don't agree with this, that, and the other, just letting you know that when you're just going to be faced with a load of shit being hurled at you? So, whatever, crack on. That's why I've thrown that in tonight, because obviously things are getting fed back to me. Like something else about, I mean, I don't know if this was me, because like I said, I was saying this earlier to somebody who shall remain nameless, but you're going to make some accusations about me, you better come with some proof, because the burden of proof is on you. Yeah? Burden of proof, if I am coming over there looking for you, if I have made a live specifically about you, it turned out to be that way, but it wasn't intended that way. And things about attacking dead relatives. Nah. Not interested. We're doing our shit over here, and you crack on with whatever you're doing. You've got no interest for me. I did notice that somebody stuck the bloody oar in, though, today. Anyway. But apparently all I want to do is please Bam. I don't know. Go figure. I always thought the only one I wanted to please was myself. Well, that's it, Green Eyes. But do you know what? I was not going to let her or the other shower ruin our live, because this has been, we've been planning to do this for a while. And do you know what? I thought, I hope you waste 3 hours listening, just waiting to get mentioned. That's 3 hours of your life you're never going to get back. Enjoy. What she said, Wicked. Oh, yeah, sorry. Well, I mean, I got told that poor Cassius, is being mentioned as well again. It's shite. Anyway, so leave them to get on with whatever they want to get on with. Tell lies. If it makes you feel more of a victim, crack on, because I don't care. So if we do this mid-week, probably. No, I didn't. Well, no, I did Green Eyes, but only because I got sent something, because I got a mention, and I was just like, oh, fuck off. Do I look? Apparently, I'm. What was it now? Was it just wanting to please? I'm another one who wants to please Bam. Really? Whatever. What? Just because I don't like? Apparently, never having spoken to me. Short memory. Why do you think I don't like you? Because you stuck your oar in the conversation that had nothing to do with you trying to cause shit. But there we go. Anyway, I've heard now. I'm too busy with Foodie Beauty. We all brainwashed our cult leader. Absolutely, Wiccan, whatever. No, Simples. Well, I was a bit cross with myself over the last week because I got involved in the drama side of stuff, which I've always said it stays away from here. But seeing what was happening to Fern and Sheila getting accused, that really, really pissed me off. But, now she's telling lies about me and all. Well, whatever, she can crack on with it. If you got something to say and you think I've said something or I've threatened to do something, you better come with some proof. Because I was going to say something about something that I actually didn't think was very fair on her. But guess what? Not saying jack shit now. Anyway, so guys and girls, I am going to wind it up in 10 minutes. So anything you want to say, anything you wish to discuss, anything that you would like us to discuss at a future live, speak now or forever hold your codpiece. Because I'm going to try and do this to bang on 3 hours. And then I can keep a track on what hours I've got left. Oh, and as if by magic, the viewing numbers went up. Oh, Cooper, don't love. Good boy. Good boy. Anyway, we're out tomorrow night. We're off down the town. We're going to get our glad rags on, go out for a few scoops and look at all the idiots that are filling up the town. Need the theme for the next incognito. Right. I'm going to say the theme for the next incognito night is going to be... do you know what? I'm not going to do it on the topic we're discussing because we're discussing the animal related deaths, aren't we? The theme for the yes, Simples, I was just going to go there. The theme for the next incognito night is desserts. That should knacker you all up. Yeah, I know. I think it was just because last time, because they hadn't done one for ages, and it was just like, yeah, let's have an incognito night. And the thing is, I know that a lot of the times when we do incognito, sometimes it'll be, when people come in, even though we have a theme, they come in as whatever's been the topic of discussion that's gone on. Can we all be minges? Wiccan, you can be whatever you want, sweetheart. You can be whatever you want. I said this earlier, but this live is exactly why I'm on YouTube. Interesting subject, then a bit of silliness. It's always fun and informative. Thank you, Sid. Well, I'm. Do you know what I did say, Minge Malva? I was talking to Wiccan earlier, and I said I'm not touching any of that shite because I'm sick to death of it. Giving her attention, and no, but then obviously we're coming to the end of it, and I thought no, because I was stewing on that, and I'm the type of person that if I've got something to say, I get it said, and then I just move on with it. And I would have been quite cross because I know people are watching. So just for the people who are watching, what's been said is a damn lie. It's a damn lie. So, and now it's out. I know what. How come there was a D in it, or was it Minge Meringue? Oh God. Well, what, Martin? You see, you're going all on the alcohol side, marmalade. Well, are these all desserts, though, ladies and gentlemen? You see, yeah, you've got alcohol on the brain. You have their green eyes. That sounds like something you'd go and see a doctor for, doesn't it? Can you please help me out, doctor? I'm suffering from a bit of mojito. Sorry, it should be a silent J, shouldn't it? How common. Minge flambe. Oh, Sheila, no, no. There's images that have been conjured that I don't want in my head. No. She always, it's you go, I can go better, and Sheila goes, all me pint. Mingerito. Oh, good grief. Baked minge macaroni. Do you know what? Do you know what I still was laughing at? Sometimes I'll be in bed at night and it'll be a quiet. Lady waits, no. It'll be green eyes are doing it with me. But why? I'll have a quiet night and I'll just be sitting in bed, I'll be reading a book or something, and it guaranteed out of nowhere it'll come that when Frida was talking about her ex's ball sack, and she said it was like corduroy. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm dying. Oh, stop. Oh God. Oh, my Oh God. Oh, I swear I've got the Rona again. Oh my God. Lady Witch, I did think I was safe with food. Yeah, Frida, when he went into the sea, I don't know if any of you were here when she told us that, but yeah, she said when he went in the sea, his ball sack looked like corduroys. Ground minge. Can I just ask? Okay, what mince sandwich with fresh pickles? No, it's desserts. The thing is, you've exhausted all your options now. You're gonna have to pick something else. Stella minge fingers. You've come in just at the right. Well, it's not just at the right time because I'll be going off in about 6 minutes. But you've come in at just the right time for the hilarity because we were very serious up to now. How are you doing, Stella, love? Oh, God. You guys kill me. Oh, bear with me. I'm just plugging in my battery pack. There we go. Oh, flipping it. Syrupy mince. Tiramisu. Yeah, you see, I'm not doing so well on the minge thing. Sid is out minged. He is. Well, Sid, do you know? I bet he's asking Nancy. Dark chocolate minge. I just wanted to know whoever came up with that word, the minge. Because I howl laughing at Amanda Seyfried because she's got that tattooed down the side of her foot. Double baked minge with spunky sugar. Spotted minge. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. So it's cringe, fabulous word like fart. Fart makes me laugh. No, crispy minge fancy. No, do you know which one? Turd. Always makes me laugh, Simples. Turd. Fart was it was like a naughty word. We weren't ever allowed to say that as kids. You could say trump or a pump. But you could not say fart. That was like a swear word. So, but no, turd always makes me laugh. Another one that always gets me is thunder cunt. But I don't know why. Oh, cream filled mingy snaps. At least you didn't say flaps. Cooper, behave. Oh, you like to turkey tree. Yes, that was it. My Uncle Peter. Turkey tree and a turd. Say 33 and a third, Uncle Peter. Ah, turkey tree and a turd. Pish. Toad in. This is just. Come here. Sorry about that, guys. Cooper's barking had just disturbed Porky because he's trying to play a game. We need to have a whole. Oh gosh, we need to have a whole cookery, but with these, it's like alternative words, isn't it? Oh dear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, oatmeal bread. Oh God, lazy witch, you are really on a flow today, aren't you? Minge puff pastry. Lady Garden. Um, well, actually, I think if I was going to say, I would never. Yeah, I wouldn't say minge. Like that's kind of a jokey word, really, isn't it? I would say death by minge. I would say muff or foo-foo. That kind of thing. Night all, I will finish joking now. Yeah, foo. There you go. Simple, same as me. Foo-foo. Mingy baldy biscuits. Oh, good grief. You lot are just wrong on so many levels. So many levels. But since you've all started talking about funny desserts, the watcher numbers have gone up again. Shortbread binge. I'm trying not to laugh because I'm disturbing him upstairs. Right, so I'm going to love you all and leave you. Behave. And I will see you all. Yeah, probably midweek, I would say. Used to call it the front. Yeah, your front bum. Well, that was it, Frida. You called it your front bum. Queen Minji, I think that's us, Wiccan. All right, lady, lady witch, you absolute nut job. Thank you, everybody. And yeah, please join us next week for my latest installation, which is going to be about some more mysterious animal related deaths that they are trying to cover up once again. It will be incognito, and I think you've done this one to death, so it's going to be desserts. So you'll have to be a dessert, maybe not with a minge in it though, because I just think you've kind of done everything now. Maybe it'll just have to be another funny, maybe a dessert related to a dog man or an alien or a Bigfoot. Maybe some paranormal related dessert. How about that? Make it a little bit harder, a little bit more thought provoking. Right. On that note, I shall see you. Sheila. I shall see you all on the bright side. Nighty nighty, lovelies.